Mike.
Aronde.
Make everybody hot, please.
All right. I can hear me.
Item number 1, Ms. Blaylock. Let's start over.
30-day review of Infusion Lounge, 3905 Troy Highway.
Mr. President, we'll talk about it at a regular meeting.
All right.
Item 2, and we've had the public hearing on this one already. Ordinance rezoning one parcel of land containing 27 acres located on the north side of Highway 80 East, 2,000 feet west of Wares Ferry Road, from an Ag 1 district to an M1 district. This was recommended by the Planning Commission.
Okay. Mr. Grimes, you held that up the last meeting. You got any comments on it?
I don't have any, I'm good.
Okay.
And I just put a piece of paper in front of y'all where they want to be added to the record concerning a historical marker on this. It doesn't change anything. They just want it added to the record.
Okay.
And I didn't have a copy from you, Mr. Grimes. I'll give you mine. Item number 3, application for a towing company doing business at Edwards Hauling and Towing. No physical location.
All right. Ms. Beard? Is that you or District 3?
I believe it's Ms. Marshak.
What is this?
Ms. Johnson, item 3.
If he's here, we'll have the discussion. If he's not, then we're gonna go ahead and deny it tonight because he hasn't answered or came.
Okay.
Item 4, resolution requesting the solicitation of neighboring law enforcement agencies to assist with crime, drugs, illegal firearms, and traffic violations.
Mr. President,
Ms. Bryan? Ms. Beard?
we'll talk about this during regular meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
Item number 5, application for a restaurant retail liquor license doing business is 811 Grill, 2950 East South Boulevard. This has already had a hearing. It's ready for vote.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell? Yes, no, you broke up.
Mr. President, we will be carrying this agenda item over. Okay.
Item number 6, application for a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license doing business is Hookah House, 6804 Atlanta Highway. Hearing has already been held on this one. It's ready for vote.
Mr. Jim Wright? Number 6, Mr. Jim Wright.
Hookah House.
You've had it, council meeting.
Okay, 5
Plan on
o'clock.
putting some special restrictions on this issue.
Okay.
Item number 7, application for retail beer and retail table wine on or off premises doing business as the Elegant Zone, 2801 Vaughn Plaza. Hearing has also been held on this one, ready for vote.
Mr. Pruitt?
I'm good.
Okay. Item 8.
8, application for retail beer and retail table wine off premises only doing business as Extra Mile Lions Pride, 6850 Farm Road. Hearing has been held, ready for vote.
Mr. Pruitt? Item number 8.
I'm good with that one as well.
All right.
Item 9, ordinance authorizing purchase and sale agreement and sale of real estate for economic development at 924 Madison Avenue to Alabama Building Renovation Finance Authority.
Okay, I spoke with the oh, I'm sorry, you're here. Go ahead.
Her mic isn't on, her mic. He's not over there.
Hey, you have any question for item number 9? That's the parking deck right there on Madison Avenue next to Crampton Bowl.
I'm good with that. Good, that's
State's
good.
looking to buy it.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
no
Good
problem.
project for the city.
I'm excited about it. We've already
I
discussed it.
think that's a good thing for the
Yeah.
city.
It's a great thing.
Then we are going to be able to use it for special events where we can maybe use it as a revenue generator in the
Yes,
future.
that's included, that we will negotiate a separate parking agreement that allows for after-hours parking, special events parking, weekend parking. We need to get the details, but it could be a great opportunity for the citizens.
Camellia Bowl.
And some of that is,
all the
some
bowl
of it
games.
is in the ordinance.
Okay. All right. Everybody good?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, ordinance granting a license agreement to construct, operate, and maintain various site improvements within the right-of-way limits of Montgomery Street, North Goldthwaite Street, Clayton Street, and State Street.
I'm good with it, Mr. President. We discussed it, and they've discussed it with the neighboring community members and businesses, so we are good.
All right, thank you.
Item 11, ordinance consenting to the disposal of certain real property by the Waterworks and Sanitary Sewer Board located between Wilbank Street and Kershaw Street along Hanwell Road in the H&R Industrial Park to Loeb's Lands LLC.
Council, anyone, we have a representative from the Waterworks Board here. Come speak on item number 11. If you have any questions.
Good evening, Bodie Brown, Al Howard. I represent the Waterworks Board. This is simply an ordinance that's required for the Waterworks Board to sell a piece of property, and it's a small parcel, non-related economic development.
Okay.
Request the ordinance be passed.
Yes. Ms. Blaylock, did you get his name?
Cody Brown?
Bodie,
Bo-
B-O-W-D-Y, last name's Brown.
Bodie.
Okay, got you.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Brown? Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good with that?
Item 12, ordinance suspending section 2 of ordinance number 5120-23, which is the council rules of procedure, to change the time of the June 18th work session to 10 a.m. and council meeting to 11 a.m.
Mr. Samansky?
Yeah,
you wanna
Mr.
go ahead and
President, I
explain?
mean, we're
What's that
obviously.
about?
What, we have an event that evening up in Birmingham, the Negro League Baseball, the Biscuits and the Barons. Cece's talking about the council attending that event.
Can we just do this permanently?
10 a.m.
We can
I
discuss.
vote for permanent.
But one question that did come up, Mr. President, was that that's also the same time as the county commission meeting, and if you wanted to consider pushing it back to 11 and 12 instead of 10 and 11, that was my only comment.
Just make that amendment in the regular session. Anybody have any concerns with that?
The only thing that Cruz couldn't make the county commission and the city council.
That's what I was saying, is we could, well, that's what I told them, is that we could move it to 11 and 12 instead of 10 and 11.
He'll choose to come where the action is.
Anything for Cruz.
All right, yeah, we just make that amendment. And that's for the Biscuits baseball game against the Birmingham Barons.
Yeah.
Historic Rick Field, and I wanted to do something that evening as council as a whole, so that's what that's all about. So just make that in the regular session, Mr.
Yep.
Any other questions on number 12? Thank you.
13, resolution related to the City Board of the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts and the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts Association Board.
Council, this is a resolution about the Montgomery. I've been asked to carry this item over for 2 weeks.
Yes.
It's something new, and we need to talk about,
Okay.
the procedure, so I'm gonna hold this up for
Carry it
2
over.
Agreed.
I think everybody got an email on that. also.
Ain't nobody there. It's unanimous.
Item 14, resolution setting a show cause hearing on June the 18th on the proposed revocation of the business license of the Velvet Room, 3526 East L Circle.
Ms. Bellinger, can we go ahead and vote on to pull those licenses tonight, or we have to have the hearing?
You can't pull them tonight
Okay.
unless there's a specific.
Just ask it.
He has a license then.
You have to give them due process.
That's good.
Item 15, application for a restaurant retail liquor license doing business as POV Restaurant, 163 Eastern Boulevard.
Mr. Grimes?
I've got a lot of concerns with this because they've already been operating, they've got videos out there and everything else, and they're making statements to people in revenue that we can't do anything to stop them, so I have a real problem with this group. Absolute problem. There's a video that we may or may not show of the party, and so it is, we got problems. And is Faye Comer, Faye here? Well, come. And if we do not give them a business license, which
Without a business license?
we should not, they don't have a business license, so we want to know, we don't pass this tonight and they continue operating, what are we going to do? We're going to go out and chain the doors or what?
We can't chain the doors.
I
You have to go to
don't know about
circuit
that.
court to get that locked like that.
Okay. Well, we need to figure out what we're going to do because we can't let them operate without a business license.
Somewhere you gotta start.
Mr. Grimes, isn't this also a state issue? I mean, if you're selling alcohol without an ABC license and you're not paying tax on your alcohol, then we've got to, I mean, it's a bigger issue than just business license.
No, it's a big issue.
That's illegal.
No, because if they don't have a business license and they don't have an ABC license.
They have a business license for the restaurant
Yes,
part.
only.
But it specifically says no alcoholic
Correct.
sales.
Well, okay, they don't have it.
Well, that
But
video
if they're
had a lot of
selling
alcohol.
alcohol in that party, they don't have a business, technically don't have a business license. So we need to be prepared. If we turn them down, what are we gonna do?
But they have a business license to sell food in there,
Yeah, but
but they don't have it for the alcohol, so they can continue to sell food.
It will be up to ABC at that point to go in if you do not issue the business license.
all right, when do we watch the tape? Now, or are we waiting?
You're gonna need to do it during the regular meeting
Okay.
because I know they're gonna appeal it to circuit court and it'll need to be part of the official record.
Sounds like a winner. Thank
We need
you.
to look at that and
mic
also
not on.
find it.
No.
My mic not on, Mike.
That's my point.
Mr. Grimes, and I guess my question will be that they will claim that they are not selling, they'll claim that they are giving alcohol away. And so that's gonna be the biggest issue, that if we don't get somebody inside to actually purchase alcohol, they're gonna say that they're giving mimosas or whatever, they're giving complimentary drinks away. And
Stacy?
I don't think it's anything against, because a lot of nail salons do it, a lot of barbershops, so unless we put an ordinance stopping everybody, they're gonna say that they're giving complimentary drinks away, Mr. Grimes.
Well, we need to figure out with ABC, because there's gotta be something, because if they're giving, don't they have to have a bartender that's licensed watching for people? They do not? They can just give drinks away?
I mean, yeah, but we know that's not a sustainable business model, so they're definitely charging for it. I'm wondering, Stacy, if there's a way that you can contact the team, I mean, because I talked to Courtney about this earlier as well. They just need to have some kind of acknowledgement that the license was not approved by the council, and then they can take it to another level in dealing with the potential illegal sales of
Yeah,
alcohol.
because if we turn them down tonight, we need to give ABC official letter that they do not have a business license to serve alcohol.
So I guess, and that's the confusing part, but we are turning them down for the alcohol, not the restaurant.
That's right. But
So they will still have a being able to operate as a restaurant, unless you're gonna do a show cause on them for the restaurant.
we're doing a show calls on their liquor license.
They don't have a liquor license, so you're not doing a show cause on the liquor license.
No, we're voting on the liquor license.
Yes.
So if we don't vote on the liquor license, we need to tell ABC, because it appears in the video they're serving liquor or giving it away in mass quantities. So we need to tell ABC that they don't have a business we did not approve them to sell alcohol.
And then we can look at section 16-81 and give them a citation, because they're operating outside of the business license. That's starting with $500 for the violations, and that's per violation, so we need to start citing them. And that way, once we do it to this POV, the rest of them will take heed that they cannot operate in the city of Montgomery without having a license. But that's up to you all, the revenue and the examiners, to truly go out and cite the businesses, because I know you know when they are doing that. And if we're not receiving it, you're receiving it, so we have to cite them.
Well, and the finance department has a checklist about what they can do. The problem is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if they're doing it after hours, they don't have the staffing or investigators that are going to go out and be able to establish it. So that's the barrier they've run into in the past, and that's because they can also file charges in municipal court.
Understood.
But that seems to be the issue they encounter. I'll also say, if you think if there are issues, and I don't know about this video or what the issues are with the business, but you can revoke their business license. You could set a show cause for their business license as well and revoke the restaurant license.
Right. And Stacy, I would also like to mention, Mr. Reed, we've discussed this already, but revenue, there has to be a way, they adjust those hours. We have to have examiners examining all day, every day, so that somebody has to come in and work that late night shift with partners. We need about 4 revenue officers out working the streets and those clubs.
Any chance we could get someone from the sheriff's department to go out when it was short? I realize that it won't, you don't need to go to these bars without armed protection. I get that. I fully understand.
Okay, yes. And their job descriptions do not require them to work those hours anyway. And I don't want to put anybody at risk of going into a place like that. They're not trained for it. They can't carry weapons. So I think we're going to have to look at some other alternatives.
So we've discussed this when we talked about staff, hours, and job descriptions, because there's no other way we can enforce it, Ms. Beville. We have to have something where we look, and I think that was the last business license meeting we had when we talked about the enforcement and creating the position. So we have to look at that. We're in budget season, so we need to budget for that.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, we're going to be
And I don't have a problem with
overran.
looking at getting someone in a position that can do that.
Yes.
But with the staff I have now, they're not trained to do that, to go out. It's almost like doing undercover work, in my opinion. I would not want to be put in that position, and I don't want to have the responsibility of someone possibly getting hurt in a situation like that. So we can look at the budget and try to get positions in that division, okay, because that's what it is. It's not a department.
Right.
Whereby we can come up with a job
for.
description and hire someone that could do that kind of work.
That works.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ready for
I mean, I
number
still think
16, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Pro Tem?
No, I'm not. I have a question about that. So what did we resolve, Mr. Grimes, on that? I mean, we beat this horse to death.
I don't think we resolved anything.
I don't think we go on with the rest of the agenda till we figure this out. We beat this horse to death every council meeting. People are operating without a business license. We don't get an answer. Velvet Room, if we deny them tonight, they're going to continue to give or sell liquor. I think we go in a room and figure this thing out. Because the Rondés have problems with the hotels, you've got problems with the restaurants.
All right,
And there's no
let's hit it.
recourse.
Let's go.
What we need is the finance department to tell us what they
Let's go.
need to fix this. What support they need, what money they need, and then the police department step in and help them. Because we got the law on the books.
Does this, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mr. Pro Tem?
Does this grounds for an executive session? We could go in and talk about this?
That's going to be a Stacy, but I don't think it is, because you would have come out and vote on this issue at the meeting. But if you want to deny the liquor license,
I
then
just
you
want
can,
I just want an answer for this
you
council.
can do a show cause for the next, set up a show cause to revoke their restaurant license and shut them down totally.
Can we show them
Mr.
Mr.
It takes a
President.
little time, but it's the process. You have to give them due process since they were able to get a business license.
But even if we revoke the restaurant license, they're probably going to continue to sell food.
Can we show the video now and in session, Ms. Blaylock? Can we show it now and
You
in?
can show it, but make sure you show it again in the
Okay,
regular
Mike,
meeting.
roll the film. POV. What'd he say?
Came in on Facebook, you can't show it.
Oh, well, never mind.
Tell them to say the video.
I mean, we know what it shows. It's they're illegally, there's the assumption that they are legally selling alcohol without a liquor license. At the very least, we know that that's an ABC issue. Anybody, that you have to purchase your alcohol from an ABC warehouse. So if they're bringing in alcohol from Costco or from an independent liquor store or from somewhere else, that's an ABC issue. ABC should be able to help us in that situation.
Yeah, and Councilman Mitchell, you know, we've met about this, and I was just asking licensing, but in one of our meetings, one of the things we discussed and what business licenses does is they put information on the business license that has to be displayed in the business, and they provided me with this one, but it specifically states that no alcohol is permitted on certain premises. And that was done intentionally so that if PD does have to go in for any reason, they can look at the business license and they know if they're not supposed to be selling alcohol.
All right, so what happens when they go in and see that they have alcohol?
If they're violating the ordinances, they can arrest the
That's a
manager for
misdemeanor?
serving alcohol.
So
We know they're doing it. I mean, I think that's the thing that we're trying to say is we know they're doing it.
Well, you know they're doing it, but
Where's Chief Hall?
Mr. Pro Tem,
Yes.
can I ask?
Yes.
Ms. Stacy, so, and I guess that's my issue. If the police show up, they don't have to let them in the door, correct?
well, it's a
No, yes, they do.
I don't think they do.
Well, they've locked the doors before and said they were closed.
Yeah.
No, they don't have
And I think the only, and we tried to switch that authority to the police department, because I think that authority lies within revenue department right now, that they are the only ones that have the ability to go in and actually shut them down, and we tried to switch that authority so MPD can have that authority to shut them down, and I think we need to revisit that. And I think that was the biggest thing, that only the revenue department has, and license has that authority to shut them down outside, I guess, the fire department.
Well, I'm speaking out of turn because some things I know about a little bit about, and I don't want to say anything incorrectly, and my fire guys are out there, but I think if they lock the doors, that in turn creates a fire issue. The problem is you're dealing with 3 different departments, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So typically, if we know there's an issue, police and fire have gone out together, but again, it is very specific on if they know there are violations. And while again, you may know it or you may see videos, it's what they can prove and what we can prove in court, or
Yes,
what we
ma'am.
can prove before the council. And that's where the issue comes in. We've done a lot to try to confront it from a city perspective so that any of the departments can address it, but at the end of the day, it's difficult.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pro Tem or Mr. President.
Here we go.
That really should not even have been a restaurant retail liquor license. That should have come forward as a lounge class 1.
I don't even think that's a lounge class 1.
What is it then? There's not a
I
restaurant.
can't say my problems watching.
Mr. Pro Tem.
Yes.
And it's also next to Rock and Jump it's now called what, Skywalk? It's right next to that. And that is a place where families that's about the only thing left in Montgomery, Alabama, to take young people to, so you don't have to travel to another city. So this is right next to it, and a lot of times, I think Sky Zone may be open till 10 o'clock. That's when the older kids, the teenagers come in. So this is right next door to a place where kids are going. Is there a law against that, Stacy, Ms. Bellinger, of what?
No.
No, but I'm just wondering if there's a concern about setting it for a show cause hearing and
Honestly, it's
revoking
a
their
show
business
shutdown.
license.
Well, I think it is, yes, I do think so.
I mean, I think that's what your option is. I mean, you can deny this tonight, and based on that and safety reasons, because you see that they're having parties and believe they're operating as a club, you can set a show cause hearing and consider revoking their license.
See, now, and I don't know the flow of it, has the fire department rated that building, how many people they can have in the building?
Yeah, that they would have an occupancy in there, and it's got to be posted, and if they receive a report it's overcrowded, they go out. Alternatively, and they do this typically on weekends, but they have a list of clubs that they select randomly that they will check to see if they're overcrowded.
Don't we have one lane of the parking lot the week before? Going crazy.
But on that sheet of paper you had, Stacy, that said alcohol was not permitted on the premises, correct?
Yes.
Major Dorsey, could you come up, please, sir? We have a question for you.
Do we have that where we can bring them out? Do we have it where we can bring it?
You saw that video, Major, with what Stacy has, that sheet of paper that says alcohol is not permitted on the premises. From Montgomery Police Department's standpoint, what can we do if you know somebody is violating an ordinance that says you can't have alcohol? What can we do as a police department?
Well, I know that we generally work with the ABC board. So if it's an alcohol issue, they do have agents that we work together with in the past and call them out. We haven't typically went in clubs to enforce any kind of city ordinances, but I'm sure with this body that we could create something that will allow us to go in there.
Do we have the ability to do that?
Yes, sir. I don't see anything Fourth Amendment that would prohibit us from doing it.
Is there a Fourth Amendment? Just on that?
Y'all got any questions?
Yeah, if you look at the calls too, it's the same exact address. So they've had some calls here on 2/3 of 24, 2/9 of 24, 3/23 of 24, and 4/7 of 24. So we've had some police calls there.
Yes, it's a frequent flyer for us. I mean, we spend a lot
Okay,
of
frequent
time
flyer,
out
I love that, yes. And there's some too, I don't know if that was at the location, it may be at the previous location. I know there's been some parking lot issues as well.
Well, and can I, just to add on to that, I mean, I think one of the issues that we have here, a week or two after our big push for small businesses in Montgomery, the problem with this is that you have people that are not going through the process that law-abiding, upstanding business owners are going through. And we have to figure out a way to intervene so that they don't undercut those people that are trying to do it the right way. So we can do show causes, but that takes time, and I don't think it's fair that we give them 30 more days to continue to operate when we know that we've got issues. And so I know I don't think we're gonna fix this right now, but it's something we have got to address this, because we can't promote wanting small business in town to do things the right way and then just have no solution when people do it the wrong way. We just can't keep going on like that.
Mr. Pro Tem?
Yes.
The solution is going to be going after those actually owners of the property. We're going after the people that's leasing the property. So the owners of the property have to take some type of responsibility because they're leasing them to individuals that they know are not operating correctly, and that's what we're going to have to do until we start bringing the owners of these establishments, of these buildings in front of the city council. Things will never change because all they're going to do is release it to somebody else, and somebody else.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, Rondé. We'll move on. Do you know the property owner of that?
I do not.
Atlantic Crossing.
I think we find out before we leave here, and we call the owner of
It's
the
on
property
your
down.
application.
Yeah.
It's on the,
It's on the ABC application. They have to list who the owner of the property is.
okay, let's go. Yeah, Miss Betty, thank you, Major. Miss Betty, can we find out who the owner of that thing is before the end of council meeting, and we'll call him down here? That's a great idea, Rondé. All right, we need to move.
Item 16, application for lounge retail liquor class 2 package license, doing business as Tobacco and Beverage 3 at 4220 Mobile Highway.
We'll discuss it in regular session.
Okay.
Item 17 has been withdrawn. They lost the lease.
Okay.
Item 18, application for retail beer and retail table wine off premises only, doing business as Extra Mile at 4303 South Court Street.
Who's got that one?
That's CC's.
CC's?
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll talk about that one, Ms. Blaylock.
Item 19, application for retail beer and retail table wine off premises only, doing business as Lions Pride, 9265 Boyd Cooper Parkway.
I'm okay with that.
Okay,
20 is the nuisance resolution.
okay. All right,
I have something, Mr. Pro Tem, to bring
yes.
forward. This is gonna be just a topic for discussion, this evening, council. I'm gonna pass it over. So what I have is section 18-112. It's the discharge and firearms penalties that we have already in the Muni Code. And so my suggestion for this is that we increase our penalties. I've looked at Birmingham, I've looked at Auburn, and specifically Auburn, and they are doing really well with the penalties that they've put in place in their city. And we're looking at paragraph B, the penalties for violating this subsection, and this is the discharger of firearms. So for first offense, I move that we do, and I know we're not voting on this is just up for discussion, but I would like to bring it back as a completed ordinance amendment the next meeting. For instead of $100 fine and 7 days imprisonment in the city jail, I'd like us to do a $1,000 fine, 45 days imprisonment in the city jail without consideration of suspending the sentence. Second offense, $1,500 fine, 60 days imprisonment in the city jail without consideration of suspending the sentence. Third offense, $2,000 fine, 90 days imprisonment in the city jail without consideration of suspending the sentence. Fourth, and conviction, $2,500 fine and imprisonment in the city jail for 6 months without consideration of suspending the sentence. And this is no minimum. We're removing this, a minimum period of 60 days and a maximum. It's just strictly a maximum, a period of 6 months imprisonment.
Mr. Pro Tem?
Yes.
Can I get the legal opinion of Ms. Stacy on what we can and do when it comes to state law and
We are limited on the penalties we can prescribe. $500 is the maximum fine we can order, and 6 months in jail.
So can we take off all the offenses and just do $500 fine and 6 months without consideration of suspending the sentence? And just remove everything else?
Yes.
That's what I would like to consider, for the council to consider and for us to amend the ordinance.
Make them all 500.
Is that legal,
Just
Stacy?
one. It's no first, second, third, or fourth. It's just $500 fine and 6 months imprisonment in the city jail without consideration of suspending the sentence. So that way they're not being released out and bonded out into the public, and we're holding them in place in a jail, and they're already being convicted of something rather than getting bonded out and waiting on the county and getting back in. So now we're holding them accountable in the municipality for the criminal act that they commit in our city.
What age are we looking at this?
Any age.
Any age, okay.
Is that good?
So, Stacy,
I'd like to do some research, but I think it is. I also think if you're inclined to do that, we should at least reach out and notify the municipal court administrator and judges and MPD corrections, especially the ones who are going to have to enforce it.
Okay.
To just hear any concerns.
So
they
can we
might
have it, and I would like to discuss it, and I can see you, well, you can pull it up, it's the Auburns, and they only have the one as well. And we can just have it ready by the June 18th meeting.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Marcia.
Thank you.
All right, we good? Going to the work session, communications, number one, Mr. Brian Davis.
You want me to tell him, Mr. Pro Tem?
Yes, please. Okay. What do they got, Miss Brenda? 3 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Yep, 3 minutes, Mr. Davis.
We can give them a little more than that. This is the home serve. They're the ones that doing our service line. So they're giving us a report. We had asked for them to come back for a report after 6 months.
Okay.
So 10 minutes, Pro Tem?
9, 12. Yeah, we got to hustle.
All right.
We got 5 o'clock pushing us.
We'll be very brief, and thank you so much, Councilwoman Johnson and City Council members, for having us. I would like to introduce my team, John Kalinowski and Shirley Epstein. We had promised to come back after this program had been up and running for 6 months, 9 months, and show and share some success stories about how we've helped the city of Montgomery. So we are here to do that tonight. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to hear us walk through the program. We do have a presentation. I'm not sure if that's going to be shared.
Mike, do they have a presentation?
No, sir. In the interest of time, we can skip through some of the intro slides and really get to the meat of our presentation, which John will go through, which are the stats of the program after our first mailing in the fall.
Yes, thank you guys very much for having us. So we did do one mailing in the fall last year. It included an initial letter to homeowners educating them about their responsibilities of their water and sewer lines. It also included a reminder letter, so 2 letters did go out. Thank you. In total, as of the beginning of May, we have 500, yes, so we're on slide 6, please. Great, that one right there, just up a little bit, please. Up one, please. The other way, sorry. Sorry, thank you very much. From that mailing, we have generated 557 homeowners that have signed up for policies with us, approximately 1,149 policies. So when you do the math there, many homeowners are taking more than one policy, a little over 2 each. The eligible homeowner penetration is a little low. We've only done one mailing, so we're here to talk about that and hopefully get another mailing out to homeowners. We have completed 35 repairs for homeowners, saving them over $18,000, almost $18,500 in out-of-pocket costs that they would have had to pay for those repairs on their own if they did not have our plans. And we have a really great customer satisfaction score of 4.93 out of 5 stars. So the work that we're doing is being well received by homeowners, and they appreciate everything that we are doing to help save them, almost $19,000 in out-of-pocket costs.
I have a quick question, and I was sharing with Brian earlier. When y'all started your plan, there was some confusion in the city about it. Was this the city of Montgomery? In your letter that you send out, do y'all say, hey, we're not part of the city, we're a private group doing this and blah, blah, blah? Okay.
Yes, and it is very clear to homeowners that it is an optional
Okay.
program. Yes.
Okay.
There's no requirement, and they can cancel at any time.
Okay.
Like to say one thing, when you see that nearly $19,000, I love to look at that and say that's $19,000 that Montgomery citizens did not have to pay, but it is $19,000 that we paid to local plumbers. So we're using Montgomery plumbers. Every dollar we spend goes into the local economy, and we're very pleased that we have that amount so far. And again, we look to send out another letter so we can get more people enrolled, and then more people can have this program, so they can be helped out in their time of economic need when they have that $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 service line replacement.
Brian, do y'all get estimates, or do y'all use a certain plumbing company, or?
I'm sorry, could
Do
you
y'all
repeat
get estimates on the job, or do y'all have 1 or 2 plumbers that you use, or?
We have negotiated rates with a multitude of plumbers in
Okay.
Montgomery, and so we just, on a rotating
Go
cycle.
through the list. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next slide, please. This slide here just gives you an idea of the number of policies by coverage plan. So water service line, we've got about 530 policies there, plans, 6 claims, saving almost $7,000. The sewer line there, a little over 500 policies, saving customers $8,000 on 20 repairs. And then the last one there, the interior plumbing and draining, 115 policies with 9 repairs, saving a little over $3,000. So folks are, like I said, they are signed up for all the plans, and they are using them, and they are saving a lot of money.
And we'd like to reiterate how seamless the process is for a customer that's calling in with a claim. We have a dedicated toll-free number that they call. There's no deductible. We work with our contractors to schedule them, get them out to the home. And there's really nothing the customer has to do or the resident has to do besides call us to explain what the need is and then have us dispatch a contractor. Again, no deductible, no paperwork for them to fill out.
And I can vouch for that, unfortunately, because I had to use HomeServe today at my house, so, yes.
So yes, next slide, please. If we could, great, thank you. As mentioned, our request here is to proceed with the next mailing. Our first mailing was done back in the fall of '23, and we'd like to make this program more accessible to the rest of your residents. To provide a little bit of insight on our creative strategy and the creative mailer that goes out, there are three main components that we rely on. One is the branding and the partnership with the city, so that really helps to serve as an introduction to the residents, that this is a program that was vetted by you. It is our program, certainly, and we stress that throughout the mailer, but again, your seal serves as that introduction to the residents. The main piece of the mailer really is the educational component, so our language speaks to reasserting that that responsibility of the lines on the private side lies with the homeowner. And then the third component is to provide a solution, and that's in the form of our plans, which, as John mentioned, are optional. And so we lay out what the benefit coverage is so that the resident knows exactly what they're signing up for, what the cost is, and how the program works. And if we can move on to the next slide, we just provide more detail again on the mailer that went out in the fall, highlighting the different components that make up our educational piece. We work to provide educational language, again, really focused on responsibility and letting the homeowners know that repairs may be needed, and if they are, it is up to them to really fund those and find the contractor. We have different methods for the resident to respond, so we cater to the phone. We have a fully staffed call center in Chattanooga, Tennessee that can enroll and answer questions via the phone. We have a mail to website, so for those who prefer to transact digitally, they may do so. And we also provide the ability for residents to fill out the form and enroll through the mail. Again, the city logo provides the introduction to the partnership. We have a response requested call out that really helps manage the timeline for our staffing and campaign tracking. The bulk of the piece, which you'll see in the bottom half, is this clear description of the coverage and the benefits. So it explains what the benefit limit is, how many claims, what exactly is covered. And then at the bottom, to your point, we have the language that really, again, reinforces. It's throughout the letter, but that disclaimer at the bottom purely focuses on the fact that the offer is optional and separate from the city. As mentioned, we did have other slides, but we wanted to be conscious of time and really focus on our request here, which is that next mailer, and also for some press. We find, as part of our next mailing, we would like to partner together to get some visibility out ahead of that mailing. We find that when residents are made aware that something is coming their way about the partnership, that it has a better, it serves as a better introduction to them, and it really helps educate them so that they're not surprised. You're not getting those calls that say, is this legitimate? Why is your logo on there? Who is this company? Is this required? So we'd like to partner together in advance of our next mailer to put out some materials that can help clarify for residents what the offer is and why it's being provided.
I think that's very important.
Mr. President, Pro Tem.
Yes.
I know last time we spoke, we actually got to sit with some more of the leadership in when we were at NLC in Washington this past convention, and one of the suggestions that we brought up was doing a press conference with the city to kind of do that introduction, because we do get a lot of those, is this legit? And it was on Nextdoor like crazy, I heard. So I'm not on Nextdoor, but I heard it was crazy on Nextdoor. That was one suggestion. And the second one is, Mr. Reed, there was some encounters where they just couldn't get that response and feedback on when to send the next mailer out, and if it was okay, because they kind of wait for that approval, and that was the piece that was missing. So hopefully we can work that out today, and we'll try to see what that looks like. But the report is good, and thank you all for coming back and doing as promised to come back and report.
Great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Brown, Jamel Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be very brief because the president of the council is not here, and I want him to address this. He got a thing going around, Mr. President Pro Tem, wanting to cut out the public communication on non-agenda items. Now, I've been coming down here all my life, fighting for what I believe in. And we've been down here for the past 2 weeks talking about the violence that's going on in Montgomery, Alabama. But the president of the council, President Cornelius Calhoun, want all the council members to take off the public communication on non-agenda items because a few folks, I ain't gonna say few, a lot of us, came down here for 2 meetings, Mr. President, and he can't stay in the hot water. Now, I give everybody hell, from the governor to all of them. If you don't want this job, find you another job, Mr. President Pro Tem, to go and work at. Look, people call me all kind of names, crazy, blow their belly, he finna talk. It don't bother me, Mr. President, because I got thick skin. And I know how to go low. When you go low, I know how to get dirt low. I know how to get professionally low. I know how to get politically low. But you, Mr. President, and several others on the council been knowing me all y'all life. And y'all may not agree with Mr. Brown, but y'all respect Mr. Brown because Mr. Brown stand on what he believe and speak what he believe. And I feel that it is very unpatriotic that the leader of this council sent y'all out some text messages saying, hey team, what you think about getting rid of the non-agenda item, public communication? That is the bedrock of our Constitution, to come down here and talk about stuff that is not on the agenda item. So, in my closing, I just want to warn you city council members up there, if you get on this bandwagon, make sure you know what you're doing, because I'm going to come with every lawsuit I know how to stop it, because you will not silence our voices. You will not silence our admittment rights. And as long as we live, we're going to come down here and speak what we believe. Just have tough skin. If you don't want the job, just get another job. We hired an MPD. Get another job. And that's all I got to say. And thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem.
Mr. Pro Tem, and in his defense, and I hate that the president is not here. It was just an axe. He just took a poll of the council, and the council overwhelmingly said that that is not the direction. So I just hate that the president wasn't up here to defend himself, and I will defend. And first of all, it was a text message that was sent out to the council. So first of all, I don't understand how that message even got out, because it was a private message that he sent to each individual, and we overwhelmingly said that that's not the direction, and he just made a suggestion, and that's what his job is, to bring whatever suggestions, and we talk about it. So I just hate that that was let out, because it wasn't nothing that we was gonna move on. I called Ms. Blaylock. Ms. Blaylock told me the same thing, so we stood on our ground that we was not getting away from that.
Thank you, Rondé. Mr. Herring, James Herring.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is James Herring. I'm an Alabama native, although I've been living in Dallas, Texas for the last 25 years. I'm the director of football operations for the Women's Football League. We want to bring women's professional football to Montgomery. I have a wife here. Are we able to see that?
Mike.
Mike, have we got the video? We got the video for football?
Pardon me?
He called her name, Mike.
He's got pictures.
Tell him speaking to the mic.
Could you scroll up just a little bit? So that's what we want to do. We want to bring women's professional football here. The first football game was played in 1865 in college between Rutgers and Princeton. The first high school football game was played in 1875. The first NFL game was played in 1920. Here we are 154 years later. Women are still paying to play recreational football. Semi-pro is not professional football. It's just recreational football. We detest that. So what we want to do, could you go to the next slide, please. Actually, go to the next one. Then you can stop there. We want to partner with you guys to bring the first professional women's football team here. We named the team the Alabama Athletes because we want to lead the way. I live in Dallas. I hear the negative things they say about Alabama all the time. No, we're gonna stop that. We're gonna lead the way with this thing. Women's sports is taking off. We wanna be at the forefront of that thing. Let's go to the next slide, please. The name of the team is the Alabama Avis. Now, how we came across that and came up with that, scroll just a little bit. We took the colors from the teams in the area, Alabama State, Faulkner, Huntington. Just a little bit more, please, sir. We took those colors because we want this to be a community team, a state team. We want those colors to reflect what the logo looks like. We want the team to be an Alabama team. So one more time, we scroll up to the next slide. So people always ask where we get our players. So what we do, we go visit the top schools in the country. I talk to strength and conditioning coaches all across the country. I'm working closely with Coach Shaughnessy down in Troy. He's my director, he's my general manager. So what I do is talk to all these strength and conditioning coaches, all these programs. I tell them, give me the best athletes. You can go back to the players, please. Yeah, stop there, please, thank you. Give me the best athletes from these sports. We're gonna create history. We start with track and field. Those are the fastest women on the planet. If you watch football, you know the receivers and the defensive backs are the fastest guys on the planet. That's a natural position for them. You stay with track and field, your hammer throwers and shot put throwers. You can see those women are ginormous and they're freakishly strong. Those are offensive linemen. You go to soccer, you have your kickers and your punters, because that's what they do. They kick the ball. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I have this is our white paper. I have a detailed PowerPoint for you guys that I email. I'm going to email Mr. Blaylock. If you have any questions, I'm going to be in town for the rest of the week. And I'd love to meet you guys privately.
Mr. Pro Tem?
Yes.
One question, and I like what you're doing because the state of Alabama is moving to girls flag football. I think several of our high schools have girls flag football. I think Alabama State is about to incorporate, so I would love to help you on this venture.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
None, but Mr. Reed, is there a possibility we can get him in with Desmond, not Desmond, but Daryl, to look at what that may look like, or somebody over in the mayor's office?
Yeah, we'll get with them and have a discussion. I think it's going to be multi-department, so it just won't be economic development. It'll be also Parks and Rec. We'll probably have a part of that conversation also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Aaron. Thank you. Karen Morrow.
Thank you so very much. You guys took on a responsibility for this city, and you have the weight of this city on your shoulders. And there's many in churches all over the city, and my 94-year-old mother pray for you every night because you have such a task. My mother is Leila Foshi. We've owned Personal Touch Catering and Events for over 50 years. And Gloria Cruz, my best friend, that was gunned down at her home doing what she does best, and that was serving others, wanting the best for them. I was called to say that she was dead, and I have not slept a night since that time. Can't tell you how many times I have called her name when I am doing an event. And I feel like that we, the city, are being held hostage by a few thugs. And I think that, I know that we have a secret witness number. I wish that every church, every billboard would put these guys on notice to say enough is enough. You're not going to be the one that pushes us in our house and makes us afraid to go to the mall, afraid to sit at an entrance of a building to go to the mall. And it can only be by you taking on this challenge by the city to say, if you see something, if you hear something, we're bumping those rewards, and we want you to anonymously call this number and have somebody on the other end that really cares what they're saying
to put these thugs to say, whoa, maybe we now are paranoid. We are being targeted instead of the good people in this town who love Montgomery, Alabama. But many of our young people that are graduating for college, in fact, some in my own family said that I'm not going to be in Montgomery, Alabama. It's just like the Wild West there. And it makes me so sad because we have such beautiful people. And I feel sorry for our police department. We pray over them in my house every night. Psalms 91, 4 and 5, that says, God, please protect these people. I can understand why morale is down when the person that they have worked so hard to find and arrest gets out before the ink on their paper is even dry. Just like the young man. Just like the young man that shot Amy Dix. Here he got out Sunday. I'm sure that the city felt real good about that. Well, he's on the streets now. Maybe he's going to come for me. Maybe he's going to be in my church Sunday. Maybe he's going to be at Gloria's funeral Saturday. I have been called by so many to say, you better watch your back. You better watch your surroundings. You better watch after your 94-year-old mother, because these people are serious and they're mean-spirited. And I'm just saying that if you people that have such a wonderful reputation in our city could make you be proactive, you say enough is enough, and we're putting you on notice that we are not standing for this stuff anymore. I don't know how many of you, I'm sure you did, remember James Palmer, who even at the Y had his gun strapped to his body while he was, in the gym. But you knew that you were not going to mess with that guy, nor his policeman. And I will say briefly that after my interview on WSFA recently, our mayor came on just after my interview. And he said, well, what people don't realize is that crime is down 30% and murders are down 10%. Well, I can tell you, Mr. Mayor, people don't believe you. There were 16 shootings this past weekend when he said the crime is down. Well, Gloria Cruz's family sure didn't believe that. It wasn't a great television show that they were watching. It was not a video game. It was their mother laying there on that ground bleeding to death. That was real blood. That was a real relative. And we just must be proactive. And if you folks will tell us how to be proactive, we want to be with you. We want to take back our city. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I thank you so much, and we will continue praying for the pressures that you have on you. Truly, I'm saying that with all my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Ms. Blaylock, we're going to recess. We'll come back at 5:15 and start the council meeting.